So hopefully he get. But so we're gonna go. Rodney, like I said, a retired police officer, drummer. You know, and he's been at it for a very long time. I've been watching him for a long time, playing with different cats. You know, so I have some questions too for you. But Rodney, who have you been playing? Because you was out there. I know you was doing stuff with Melba Moore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I seen that a lot, and your own band with Travisio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so give us a little background of you.
Ooh, okay. Back in the day, in my heyday, I because of Travis, he put me on a lot of great gigs. I was playing with for Isaac Hayes. We did his parties, and we were a house band for his parties for like 5 years.
Right.
A couple of gospel greats. I played with Donnie McClurkin, Tremaine Hawkins. You know, whoever hired.
Yo, what's happening? What's happening?
Don't just jump in our conversation, man. We still on one. Vincent Belvin just entered the room.
There you go. Always making an
What's up?
entrance.
Hey! What's up, man?
You the one that comes to the party, Vincent.
Hey.
Vincent, you come to the party late with the wrong food.
Wrong food, huh? Well,
You
what
know,
you want? Some sushi or something?
Y'all have to understand, me and Vincent go back a long, long way, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to get back to Rodney. Vincent, this is Rodney on the screen. He's a retired police officer.
Hey, Rodney, how you doing?
All right, Vincent, how are you?
Everybody.
I think this is the only time I'll say police officer.
Is that Karen? Hey, Karen.
Yeah, there you
Hey,
go.
what's
Yeah. Who else, Vincent? Somebody else did. Go ahead, Vincent. Take over. Who else?
I'm sorry.
That's
but
all right.
Hey, Karen and hey, what's up, sugar?
Well, who else you see
doing?
over there? You see Mike Cruz, don't you?
I said what's up to Mike already.
Yeah, he sure did.
I'm just learning how to use this thing. You know, I had to click on some kind of grid and now I can see everybody.
All right, that's good.
At first, I was
Again, we're going to get back to you, Vincent, in a second. I'd just like to hear some more from Rodney, the drummer.
Okay.
So you started with, oh, here goes Harry. Okay, here goes another big hello for a minute. We're going to I'm going to let y'all know right now, I'm going to have some fun with Harry.
Okay.
And I bet you he's got the screen backwards. He's probably, hope he's not in the bathroom. There he goes.
What happened?
Yeah, see, there he goes. Just Harry.
Okay.
Turn it around. Turn the screen around, not the phone.
Turn the screen around.
Yeah, don't turn the phone around. Hit the button.
You said turn the screen around.
There he goes. Yeah.
Oh, that's good?
Yeah, okay, now you're
Almost.
sideways. You're giving me vertigo.
You hear me?
We have, again, Harry, this is Rodney, and a retired police officer, and I was saying, Rodney, this is probably the only time I pronounce police, or I would usually say cops, or, you know.
That's fine, man.
All right. How you doing, Rodney?
Yeah.
I'm doing well, thank you. Doing well.
And so you was doing some stuff, like I said, I do remember you with Melba Moore. I seen those videos, and then I seen you playing with Isaac Hayes, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoever hired me, man, I played, but that was it. That's the name of that game.
All of Karen, oh my God, Karen, that was great when playing with her. You know, in
Oh,
my
yeah.
studio. Yeah, and then we did a boat gig, very serious. She didn't act like a captain on the gig. You know, she come to a gig late, she give you a late slip, you know.
Never.
get a two from while you hit the wrong chord. So Rodney, was you actually playing with Melba while you were working? Or
With Melba, no. More the Isaac Hayes stuff and further back.
Yeah.
I went to Trinidad. I went to Japan twice while I was working.
While you was working.
Yeah. And
that's the name of this session is called GWW, gigging while working. It's not a DUI. But it's gigging while working. That's what we're calling that. So I think it was very difficult. Can you kind of give me any issues you had while you was out there?
No, I had a good roll call guy, and I guess he kind of liked me, and so it was no problem getting days off or doing my gigs. The funny thing is after you do your gig and I got my drums in the car and I had to go to work either 4 to 12 or midnight, I would drive and park in the boss's garage, and
Wow.
nobody knew whose car it was, and they never questioned it. So because I worked in Harlem, in
Right.
3-2,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to leave my drum kit out on the street, in my
Yeah.
car. So I just bogarted, and nobody said anything all those years, So I was able to.
Harlem's a nice place.
Oh, it is. It is.
I'm just kidding.
But we all know what could happen. I'm not
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to. Listen, I worked there for a long time. I love Harlem.
Yeah,
But,
at Harlem Hospital, correct?
Well, yeah. After my last 5 years, I had an inside job. I was the liaison at Harlem Hospital, making sure
Right.
that the people that got hurt that were locked up saw a judge. That was my job, to make sure they got arraigned,
Okay.
bedside
so,
arraignment.
again, did you do anything on the job itself? Like, with music, playing for
Oh,
any-
yeah. I actually joined the marching band, and I played, we did all the Thanksgiving Day parades. We did some funerals. We did different events. And it was pretty cool because we rehearsed for like an hour or two at some college. I forget. I think it was, oh my goodness, my daughter graduated from the college. St. John's. We rehearsed at
Yeah.
St. John's
Okay.
on company time.
Yeah.
And we did 2 hours, and they cut us loose for the rest of the day. So that was fun.
We're going to go to Mike Cruz. Now he's a retired ADW, so he should be able to get some, serious Bose headphones. Yeah,
Hey, these are
I knew you was going
AKGs.
there.
I have you know these are AKGs, man.
All right,
I don't know why they acted up.
And
Can you
not
hear me
only
better?
not only that, once you're
Yes.
in music, man, you probably got all the audio equipment. I see some keyboards in the background.
Yeah, I haven't been, I've got to get it back together, honestly. This is my little man cave room
Yes.
where I do taxes, I do music, a little bit of everything,
I didn't know you did taxes.
Oh, yeah, I've been doing taxes since I had 5 years on the job, so I've been doing that for 20,
Oh,
25
man.
years now, so.
Yes. Oh, that's good, man. Are you good? Are you good?
Yeah. Hey, listen, you're doing other offices. You better be good.
Yeah, I know, right?
We got a blanket party in the locker room.
Yeah, how about?
Absolutely.
I
You won't
guess
get off that island, huh?
That's
Yeah.
right.
I guess some of you officers can remember the was it eBay? Bay? Remember those guys?
Oh, the beige.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got, I had,
Yes.
that's a whole nother story.
The other one, do you remember Dr. Feelgood?
Oh, was he in the Bronx?
You got
Yep.
back more than what you got back 3 officers, taxes.
Mhm. But the funny thing is, nobody ever looked at their return to see what he put down.
Yeah, that's what
He
it is.
he put down you gave $20,000 in charitable contributions.
Yeah.
Wow.
He put down you had
Dr. Feelgood. That was
Yeah.
his
But
nickname.
they closed them down and then he opened back up, Freddie.
Yeah, I know. That's what
in
I'm
another
saying.
area, yeah.
Yeah, he was feeling real good. So Cruz, are you playing it now?
At this point, I'm retired and everything else. I'm pretty comfortable. I do it because I like to do it. So I have a couple of friends of mine. We've been getting on this. There's this app called Jam Kazam.
Yeah, Vincent has gotten me very far, but he, every time he finishes a sentence,
close.
he got to finish with stupid.
Hey,
Listen,
Vincent,
I'm
Vincent,
trying.
you should have let me. You should never let me know you on Jam Kazam now, Vincent, because now I'm gonna bug the crap
You
out
know
of you.
what? Let me tell you
Listen,
something.
let's do it because
Mike-
I didn't know you was on it too. I'm
Mike-
game.
I have to get it.
Mike,
home.
he was
Are
on
you-
Jam Kazam. I could hear him clearly. He was jamming with 2 other guys. my drums couldn't be heard, and he just left me there like, too bad.
It was fun, man.
Yeah.
I was like, where are you?
Yeah, I said, I'm here, man.
You got to get it together.
Right?
I can't hear you. I was like, wow, this.
I was like, later for you, Freddie. Listen, this is cool.
You have to mic your drums in, right, Freddie?
Yeah, Harry, you don't start with any technical words of anything. You can't turn your phone right. And now you're going to ask me about these. Harry, stay out of this right now, okay?
First time, bro.
That's okay, bro. Technology's only been out for about 20 years.
I know.
But Mike,
Yeah.
you also got involved with Vincent and Mike and Ron Miller, who I'm sure you're familiar. He's a deputy warden. He's still on a job. He couldn't really make it. He does say hello to everybody, you know.
Okay.
So, Mike, but you started this, and I know Vincent was involved in the command that the band. You started something after they.
Oh, the DOC Jazz Band.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I think really Vincent and Ron were the two really heading it and running everything, and it was really it was nice. It was a good experience. I mean, we all know DOC, and even Ronnie, he knows the city. You know, they. I have a feeling that the city, the police department gave him a little more support than they gave the DOC band gave us. You know.
Yeah,
but,
right. I believe so.
Sometimes it was okay, and then it started fading once you know.
Right.
That particular. Who was the commissioner that wanted it, Belvin?
I believe it was Horn.
Horn.
Yeah.
Too Long started it too.
Who?
Started. Yeah.
Long.
Yeah, that was more of the ceremonial kind of thing. You know, me.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
I played in the main visit house. Before you know it, the other jails were saying, "Can you come over there?" I started with civilian players, and then I met Vincent, and that was around.
Do you know who the officer was that introduced us? Do you remember her name?
Yeah, no, and maybe Karen will remember.
Karen
her
knows.
name. Yeah.
Well, she was a very, very, very cool, very nice officer named Alton.
Jackie Alton.
Yeah.
Jackie Alton, right. She worked down in grievance.
Yes.
And she was assigned, I guess, to RMSC too.
Yeah.
And I think I was in charge of like programs and recreation. Vincent.
Yep. That's right. That's right.
I remember you came to me, you're like, I need a job. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
So that was something that
That's
started
crazy.
there, and before you know it, we were doing the jails. I met Vincent. We had Officer Gordon from
Arthur Gordon.
OBC.
Arthur Gordon on bass.
Yeah, he was on bass, and we was doing the trio. Harry Horn came in after, and we were doing Horn when he can get off the midnights and come, to one of the jails. And we started playing we did 5 jails in 1 week, and we called it the Jail Rock Tour.
The Jailhouse Rock Tour.
Now,
wait, Fred.
Yes.
Yes, Rodney.
I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
Did you guys have any restrictions on how many hours you could play or where you could play? Because on NYPD, we had to fill out this form and agree to not play in after-hours spots, or not. We couldn't. If you worked 8 hours that day, you couldn't play for like more than I think 4 or 5 hours. All kinds of stipulations. In other words, they didn't want you coming in tired the next day. So
right.
They also restricted us from, like I said, from playing in different locations.
Yeah.
And every gig that we had, now I know guys didn't do it, but you had to let them know that you were gigging.
Especially if you was in a bar or something.
Right.
I think we didn't get that crazy.
No.
I think the last part that you said was true.
Yeah.
You didn't let them know. I think they had something on the books in regards to.
They did have it.
How many hours you could do another job or something like that, and something about after-hour spots and.
Well, after hours was you couldn't be in certain places that were illegal.
Yeah.
But any gigs we did were on our days off, meaning the next day we didn't have to come in.
Okay.
And basically, I was in the administration, so I took care of most of that.
Yeah. Yeah, so we didn't have that much problem with that
What
at
did
all.
you go through, Rodney? Did you go through any situations that were bad while playing?
Not really. You know, somebody calls you up and do a gig, and first thing you ask is how much, and then you do the gig. So when you get there, you have no idea what kind of spot it is. Only one time that I was like, oh God, going on me. I'm like, I gotta keep I can't groove. I can't keep play with my eyes closed. I gotta keep my eye on everybody.
Maybe what they're talking about will come under the moonlighting laws.
That's right.
Cops or officers would actually have other jobs of moonlighting. That's what I believe you're talking about. But we didn't have that issue because it wasn't like we were doing it every week for 3 and 4 days where it interfered with our work performance, or that any of us would do anything being like an after-hour club, gentleman's club, or any place that was illegal. Yeah. So we didn't do that, fortunately.
Now, Karen is a guitar player, and we're going to talk about, like I said, she's a captain, or was, retired from Rose M. Singer Center, we really call it. Maybe. Karen, you did the control room. I mean, how did you, what was you doing in terms of, were you ever thinking you're in the control room under a bad situation, but you got a gig tonight or tomorrow? I mean,
Well, remember, I had a couple of positions which enabled me to be able to do what I needed to do. Part of the administration, being a programs captain, that was really my gig. Yeah. I was a relief captain for the control room. And so, I did that for the most part. Working on weekends, like I said before, was not a big deal because I wasn't doing it continuously. It was difficult. But during that, I was really blessed to really just bring music to DOC. And I thank Freddie and Vincent Belvin that my very last day, because I was control room captain, I just threw a party. I took off my uniform shirt, played the gig, had a Les Paul, played it, but everybody from the Commissioner Mayor down, that's how it went out. So that was my story.
I remember that. That was great.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was great. And because I was 5 and 2, it was easy for me to work the weekends, and they didn't bother me about. They knew I played guitar. They knew I played, so it was never an issue. But I was more corporate parties, so weddings, retirement parties, and stuff like that.
With Vincent, I mean, I know your list is very long, so we're not going to keep you too long on this one. But
I'll keep it short.
Vincent now is in Florida. He's I call him the master piano player at the House of Blues. I'm very fortunate to go. Every time I fly to Florida, I fly on a Sunday morning when Vincent's playing at the House of Blues, so I can just drive right there and get free food. I didn't care about the band.
It's shut down now with this.
Yeah, I know, but them eggs were good, man. Now where things have opened up and he's already started gigging, but there's still some restrictions going on. So Vincent, tell us how you're dealing with that.
Well, I tell you, being very smart. Very smart. I'm not just gigging anywhere down here. Actually, I'm not gigging that much at all. Since I think March 14th, that was like the last gig I did, and I think we had 2 since then. 3. I was gigging every weekend, pretty much every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and sometimes through the week. And this is through the whole year. So, I mean, it was kind of tiring, especially doing vocals and stuff like that. But right now, very careful. This one particular place we're getting ready to play at actually tomorrow. They have great social distancing. The stage is high and the seating is away from the stage, and they have a strict, mask order and so forth and so on. We have our separate entrance into the place. So that's the only reason I agreed to play there. Okay. But it's only a couple of venues that I will play at right now. Because everything that's going on, the numbers are growing down here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. a lot of people down here they just, I don't know, they don't believe that the science is the science, you know? And I don't get it. So that's what's making it hard for us, you know?
I'm currently in my winter home in Greenville, South Carolina. So I understand what you're talking about. Wearing a mask, social distancing.
Yeah.
There's some people feel privileged. I don't need to do that. But the numbers are crazy. They're opening up bars and clubs. People are drinking, you know. And and violence is going up. So it's really hard down here in South Carolina.
Well, let me tell you, one of the shows that I did out of the 3, one place I was ready to pack up and walk out of there.
Really?
Yeah, because the conversation, I mean, I was very serious about this. The conversation that we had over the phone with the owner was that everything was going to be done this way and that way and so forth and so on. So when we get there, the people that work there said, oh, they don't make us wear masks here, so we don't wear it. And we don't have the people coming in here with masks, you know. We got some social distancing going. Let me tell you something. I was so close to leaving out of there.
Yeah.
And I did that show, and it was horrible. It was like so hard to concentrate because there were people coming in. Nobody was wearing a mask, and they were just all over the place.
Yeah. And Vincent, there was like, you know, a lot of times we played, you know, we did a lot of gigs while we were working, you know, you know, like I said, we did some with Karen as well. And Harry Horn, we brought Harry Horn in, and I don't remember when we started using him, but, you know, Harry Horn has a very, you know, distinctive way of playing. I said he reminds me of Miles Davis all the way. So, Harry, what was your experience? Because you worked mainly midnights, and you would do gigs, and I mean, sometimes you would come and sit in and then say you got to go to work.
Well, when I was in HDM, you know, some of my father's people were still there, so they looked.
Right.
It wasn't too bad until HDM closed, and I started moving around to Bellevue and I think NIC. Well, I got with Grass Construction. That's when it was kind of real crazy.
Okay.
But, you know, in the early '70s, they had a big name. So I never forget I had signed a contract to do a concert in New Jersey, and wasn't thinking right. And but the captain that was on, they came to the jail with a big what was it? They had some type of big, massive truck. It had a bed in it and everything. They met me when I got off the midnight.
Okay.
Because they were scared that, you know, if I didn't make it and they signed for a certain amount of people, if you remember that group, they had more than one trumpet. They had like 3 trumpets.
Yeah, well, that's why they called them Brass Construction.
Brass Construction, yeah.
That's right.
And if I didn't show up and they signed for a certain amount, they was going to get sued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew my days were numbered. I got kicked out after 2 months.
And you're still working now.
Yes.
Did you take that? You took all your horns off the bed. You should have saw it, y'all.
But that's why I'm sitting down.
Yeah. Well, how many horns was on that bed that you called me up to see? You know,
about 14.
Harry Horn calls me up and says, "Freddie, you want to see what's in my bed?" I'm like, "Yo, dude, it's a little personal, isn't it?" You know, I mean, and then he's like, you know, still continuing down the hallway. And I'm like, what's he gonna show me, man? Yeah, man. He's like, this is the sweetest thing I ever had in my, and it's like 1,000 horns on his bed. Y'all wouldn't believe it. Listen, guys, I got some questions. We're gonna wrap it up real quick, but I want you to answer these questions in 30 seconds or less. What musicians inspired you to play your particular instrument, which is guitar? And we'll just say your main guitar, I believe.
Well, the first 3, Jose Feliciano, Glenn Campbell, Jimi Hendrix. Those were my first 3.
Glenn Campbell
was an amazing guitar player.
Okay.
He was a bad boy. He was.
He was bad. Right. Jose Feliciano, phenomenal guitarist. Jimi Hendrix, we know that about Jimmy.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Great. Mike Cruz.
Yep.
If you could open up a show for a famous band, who would that be?
Oh.
That's right. Come on, man.
Wow.
I know who's
Well,
Vincent's would be. That's why
listen. If I could open up and be on the same stage with Earth, Wind, and Fire, that would have to be it. Now I'll be scared to death because now I gotta open up for Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
But that I would go for it. It has to be Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's not even a second thought.
Okay, Rodney. What musicians would you love to collaborate with? If you could have your super band, come on, give me that trio or quartet. Who'd be in it?
Let's see.
You playing drums, of course.
Let's see. On bass, it would be either Nathan East, Marcus Miller. Let's see. Keyboard, he's passed, but George Duke.
Yeah.
Jorge Dalto also passed, a great keyboardist. Let's see, who else? Sax, David Sanborn, Gerald Albright.
Okay.
Guitar, Lee Ritenour.
Oh, okay. Wow, yeah, I like Lee Ritenour, especially when you're soloing. What key do you find challenging when you solo? So what key, you say, oh man, they're gonna call this song out, it's in this key, and you got a solo.
I can't even say there are any.
Ooh, you would take anything, right?
You're the man. Yeah. That's why he's the man.
I'm gonna give you another one. Do you have any embarrassing moments while on stage? Did you have any embarrassing moments?
Yes.
Can you tell us about it, please?
There was one time I went to do a sax solo, and I have this wireless thing. It's a EWI, and I went wireless, and the batteries died. And so, without any warning, it just like the MIDI started acting crazy, and it held a note on me.
Yeah. I know. Yep.
And I had to turn it off. And everybody knows that there's a solo supposed to happen here.
Oh man.
So yeah, that happened one time. So what I do now is
it's called sound check.
Cordless, what you call those? Rechargeable batteries.
Okay.
And I make sure I charge them before the gig all the time and have a second set ready.
There you go.
But and then of course I check it, sound check, make sure that the light is right. But yeah, after you have that experience, you don't want that to happen again.
my most, and it wasn't really at a gig, but I was sitting in. This is the most embarrassing thing that could have ever happened to me. While I was thinking I was playing jazz, what's that club, Rodney, on 225th and Linden? Back in the days, Rodney, a jazz spot. Yeah.
Linden?
I can't remember the name. It was a jazz spot. They even had sawdust still on the floor. So I'm telling you, I'm about 16 years old at this time. So we're going a long time ago. But anyway, I'm thinking I'm playing jazz, but I was really playing like rock beat, eighth notes instead of like triplets. And the guy gets up on the stage, and he's the house band drummer. He's telling me, no, ding, ding, a ding, 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 a ding. And I'm like, what? So I continue playing. And when I went like this on this, I came back down and both sticks were gone. He actually snatched 2 sticks out of my hand. He gave me that head thing like, get out. And
oh wow!
They put another drummer there in the middle of the song. The song was still going on. Yeah.
Wow.
And I swear I would like to believe, but I'm just gonna say a fantasy. I swear it was Omar Hakim that sat down on those drums because I sat next to him in embarrassment. And then the minute I saw a side door, Man, you think I robbed the place because I ran out of there so quick. so Harry Horn, what musicians inspired you to play your particular instrument? Because I know already, and we all know, based on his horns of all red. Like
well, at first it was Donald Byrd. It was Donald Byrd. Well, I come from drum corps. I started with bugle, and then I went to snare. Then I came back to the trumpet at 16.
Right.
And then it was Donald Byrd. I couldn't deal with playing mild stuff, too complicated.
Right.
So then after it was Donald Byrd, and then after Donald Byrd, Miles was the finishing touch, and it was even Wallace Rooney that just passed away.
Wow. Okay, this is a question I'm going to go around to everybody real quick, 15, 30 seconds reply. So we'll start with Rodney. And this is basically, I know for myself, when I started playing drums, that was the last instrument my mother wanted to purchase for me when I told her I wanted a drum set. So she said, buy it yourself. I went out and did a paper route, and I saved up $80. She gave me the last 20 for $100 mother of pearl Rogers set out in Levittown, and that's where I went and purchased. So it was a social economic situation for me because my mom's raising 2 kids and blah blah blah, that story. When you guys were buying your instruments, Rodney, your first drum set, how was that attained? Did your family just go out and purchase it for you?
Well, actually, my aunt, she knew I wanted drums, and we went up to Sam Goody in Green Acres and bought it was supposed to be a red sparkle kit, and it was supposed to be a 4-piece. When I got it home, they gave me a blue sparkle, and it was a 5-piece. So I got a little something extra, and that was that was all because of my aunt.
Wow.
She took me up there. Yeah.
Did you go to
actually, I took 2 drum lessons, and then I started playing in school, and the rest is history.
Right, because you lived right down the block from Walter Perkins.
Yeah.
Mike, so what was your situation?
My first piano, my parents actually bought it. Was in the house. My mother played a little piano, and I started learning with classical, with the John Hammond books and the whole 9, like that.
Right. Wow. And how young were you at the time when you started?
I believe I was 9.
Yeah, everybody is getting
somewhere around there.
Look up in the air to see how old we were when we were younger.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back,
Like the numbers up there somewhere.
That's up there. Well,
I think I see 10.
Well, that's when you're accessing certain parts of your brain.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of keyboards are your favorite?
Are my favorite?
Your brand. Come on.
Yamaha.
Okay.
Yeah. As I was growing up, there was 2 keyboards that I absolutely wanted and absolutely could not afford, and that was the OB8 and that was the Mini Move. Back way in the day. Back in the day, the OB8 was like $5,000 back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So, but Yamaha's my favorite brand.
Karen,
Yes.
multi-musician there. So what did you start out with, and who started you to make you purchase something?
When I was a child, this is how I got my first guitar. My parents didn't buy me a guitar. They told me, I saw in a Sears catalog, or like A&P food, those stamps that you put in the book, H&S stamps or something like that.
Yeah.
Green
So
stamp.
I saved 64 books for my first guitar. Mother took me down, and that's how I got my first guitar. But when I was in high school, I was a violin player in an orchestra. I went to Andrew Jackson, but I was just in the music department. But I took private lessons about 11 years old, but it was that acoustic guitar.
Okay.
So I bought my own guitar by going to the store for everybody to collect those stamps and put them in a book. And I said, hey, Mom, I got 64 books now
Wow,
to buy
yeah.
the guitar for me.
Wow.
I had to work for
Rodney,
it.
what high school you went to? Rodney,
Springfield High.
Springfield High.
Mhm.
And Mike, what high school you went to?
Jamaica.
Jamaica. Vincent?
And Larry E. Stevenson in the Bronx.
Hey, Vincent, don't get all excited. You know.
The
know.
boogie down. No, listen. At that time, the high school, and this is not a pat on the back, but they were the number one. The jazz band was the number one jazz band in the state of New York.
Okay. So
At the
that's something
time.
to be proud of. Harry,
Oh,
where'd
yeah.
you go?
I went to Woodrow Wilson, but then it closed
Right.
after
Okay.
11th grade, and I wound up going to Brooklyn Automotive.
Okay.
Mm.
So, Harry, I mean, your horns are pretty expensive just buying one. Maybe you should have done like Charlie Parker and got a plastic horn first. Did you do that? Did you get a plastic trumpet like Charlie Parker did? Do you know that Charlie Parker played with a plastic saxophone in the beginning? Yeah, in his early days. Yeah, because he couldn't afford these. This is why I'm saying social economics, you know, to buy these instruments, you know, jazz basically started in New Orleans, and they just got the surplus of Army equipment. So, Horn, what did you have to do?
Well, my father had a trumpet around the house, so it was right there. I
Look at
never had.
that. You mean
I never
your
had to
dad
buy one.
play? Your dad played? I mean, who has a trumpet around the house?
Well, my father played until he went into corrections, and you
Yeah.
know,
Now,
I picked it up from there.
well, let's get back to Harry's dad. His nickname was Hard Rob from HDM. Come on, back in those days, you know, if you had a name like that, you know, nobody wanted to mess with you. So a lot of old timers, a lot of my friends, and please let me say this now for those of you that may know or may not know, we just lost Charlie Moraes from C95, C76 captain. Just a few days ago, we lost him. I was talking to him a week ago, and I caught him, unfortunately, when he was, he could barely talk. He told me he had pneumonia. I said, I'll call you back in a few days. And unfortunately, those few days, somebody posted, they called me. And we also lost Sonny T. Williams from Transportation. T. Williams was a drummer. And we lost him back in March. Another person I talked to right before he thought he just had the flu. And so Charlie I'm not sure of, but Charlie was an excellent player. I have his keyboard here in my studio. He actually came down here and played one of my little winky-dink keyboards and told me to get this garbage out of here. And sold me his motif. You know, and it's sitting here. It's my studio pick, man. So, Charlie Moraes and T. Williams, who I will be putting pictures in this edited version.
Right.
You know, he loved.
And Rodney Ocean.
Excuse me?
Rodney Ocean.
Okay, and where was he from?
JTC.
Oh, okay. So I'm sure we got quite a few musicians out there. You know, but Horn, you had a horn sitting around. You said your dad had it. He played trumpet, and you just picked it up, and bam.
Yeah, I took it from there. You know, I played in an orchestra in high school, and I just kept going. After I got out of drum corps, that was it.
Right. Wow, that's great, man. And I tell you, I have some videos of me and Horn playing. We did a TV show, a cable show, and for a while, I think me and Vincent did it also. You know, we was just floating around. I was always just trying to pick up projects. Got to play with Karen. Of course, can't play with Rodney because he plays drums, but I got to, you know, hear him play a lot with Travisio, who plays with Dennis Edwards, you know, right up until his death of the Temptations. So, you know, being around, you know, Jamaica funk, man, this is like the town we call it. And Mike, are you from Long Island originally? Where are you at now? I don't even know.
Well, I'm in Long Island now. I grew up in South Ozone Park.
Oh,
Queens.
okay. Yeah.
Queens.
He's another Jamaica cat, you know. I think we only have two Brooklynites. Vincent Belvin, I know, is a Brooklynite. Now a Florida. What do you call your?
Not originally, but I did live in
Bronx.
Brooklyn.
You're Bronx.
The boogie down,
Okay, boogie down, man. You know, I ain't on the subway sign. It just says Bronx. Don't say Boogie Down. You guys.
I heard
they
they was gonna change it just for me.
and Harry Horn being from, I believe, Red Hook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's some serious stuff there, man. You know, I'm from Soft Queens, so you know.
Did they try to put a case on you in Red Hook?
Who's that?
Remember the movie? He said, "I'm gonna put a case on you. I'm gonna put a case on you. Put a case on you."
I remember Straight Out of Brooklyn. They made Straight Out of Brooklyn. Matty
I'm
Ricks.
talking about the one with Denzel Washington.
Training Day.
Training Day.
Okay.
I'm gonna put a case on all y'all.
Yeah. Hey, did we get every embarrassing moment? Anybody would like to share a quick embarrassing moment before we close out? Rodney, come on. Drummers, how about dropping sticks, busting a hole in the head, you know?
All that happened.
I got one.
Okay, Mr. Horn, go ahead real quick. Go ahead.
Before I worked for State Corrections, I was working school safety. And I had this gig on, I don't know if anybody remembers the Tropical Cove, Franklin and Fulton. And I was tired. I was real tired. So I was playing. I had, I think, a couple of shots of wine, light wine. But I was exhausted because I didn't get no sleep. So I hit this note, and I felt myself rocking back and forth, but I thought that I could make it through the gig. Next thing I knew, I started going backwards. I fell into the drummer's cymbals, went down, cymbals went everywhere. I held the horn up. It was amazing that I didn't get cut.
Yeah.
When I got back up, when they helped me back up, everybody was clapping. They thought it was part of the show, but it wasn't.
Don't play with me with that, man. Oh wait, Rodney, you had something that you was gonna say.
Yeah, I was in Japan, and they were shooting a video of the band, and for some reason, the set list, it had Anita Baker on it, and we did a lot of her stuff, but they called for Sweet Love, and I started playing a different Anita Baker song.
Oh, yeah.
And video's going, and the band, I'm in this entirely, everybody just turned around and looked at me, and we had to stop and restart, and they kept that in our video. They kept the whole thing. So it lives on forever.
Wow.
Karen, did we get any embarrassing moments with you?
Yeah, I was playing Detroit, big concert, had a big solo coming up. Wrote it out, was ready to rock it out, stepped on the box, nothing, the volume was down. And I'm like out there wireless, and I'm like, oh, I couldn't go back to adjust it, and I was just humiliated.
Yeah. Wow. Mike, come on now.
Yeah. No, I had one. Somebody called me up for a gig, and I had to learn a bunch of songs. And one of the songs that they told me, I forgot the name of the song now, I kind of knew. But they played it in a different key. So I had to mentally remember that when I got ready to start playing it, okay, I got to play this song a half step up, because is that a half step up from where I normally play it? And of course, it was a song where I started off. Of course, I forgot. So I started the song, and I do the whole intro part that we doing. I'm a half step off from the rest of the band. So now the band is like in a conundrum. What do you do now? Because I've already started. You already hear the song in this key. So now if the band comes in, everything is going to sound off.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you do?
To the guitar player and the bass player's credit, they recognized that I was in the wrong key. And when they came in the key that I played it in. And I didn't realize I played it in that key until after the song was over. There's like, you know, you're in the wrong key, right? I was like, oh crap. So the audience never knew it, but it was embarrassing to me as far as the other musicians that, you know, I forgot.
Me too, man. Hey, I'm really glad I got a chance to do this. Everybody's looking healthy. I hope you guys continue playing your instruments. I'm going to, you know, make sure I still play. And when we come out of this, you know, we'll play again, and maybe we'll meet up in Jam Kazam if I ever get my thing right.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
So thanks very much. Thank you very much, everybody, for participating. And when I get this up, I'll, now, wait a minute. Why should we leave and you guys do not roast the host? Real quick.
Well,
You only have
you
10
know,
seconds on this one, though.
aside from
Mike
that,
10. Mike 10.
I'll mute you in a minute.
no, man, I never heard you mess up. I'm just glad I wasn't there for that. You playing the rock beat for the jazz guys, but I'm glad I wasn't.
Yeah.
Glad I wasn't there for that, but no, you're good, man. Thanks for having this, though. By the way, yeah, this
Thank
is
you.
good.
Okay, Mike, go ahead. Come on. Was I late for something? Well, you was never a supervisor with me. I only saw you in the radio shop.
Right, yeah. You know, you say no.
Yeah, we only played together once.
Yeah, no, yeah, one time, yeah. Nah, listen, I wish I could think of something negative to say, but something funny to say. But listen, listen, at work you were professional, and played one time, and you was great. Then you came and sat in and helped out. We appreciate you. So,
did you know about me on Gate 4? Are you familiar with Gate 4 and me practicing all day on that post?
That's how I met.
Yeah. You mean having your drumsticks and a little pad on the gate?
Oh, there he goes. Yes.
Yeah, listen. I was a little envious because I wish I could bring a little keyboard and practice while I'm sitting there on that boring gate.
We had Mike Clancy on the 3 to 11 played guitar. He went to PD afterwards, but Mike Clancy was practicing on guitar in Gate 8.
Really? On what tour?
3 to 11.
Wow.
Yeah, so nobody was there. Rikers Island is like Death Valley on 3 to 11, and you hear a pin drop on the midnight.
Yeah.
Karen, what do you have to say? We played a lot together.
We played on this a wedding on a yacht, and you came up. You're a big guy, and it looked like you came up with a toy drum set, but it was just a small drum set that all the drums fit into. And you took it out. I'm like, what are you gonna do with this little drum set? You're just so huge over this little. It looked like a toy because you're such a big guy. So it was just funny to me.
And that's my
First
studio.
time I've ever seen that.
That's my studio drum set today, the Yamaha. And I would like to skip over Vincent because I know we've been hanging since 1997. Yeah. So and we still doing stuff together. But go ahead, Vince. Be easy though.
No, the only thing I can say is I know what you mean when it comes down to that keyboard, because every time I would come over there, I didn't really feel too good with the keyboard that you had.
Said nothing.
You
never said nothing.
You know what I'm talking about, Cruz, when you don't have the feel. So I was glad when you got that motif.
How about when we went to Vincent, we went to OBCC and you guys, they didn't want to let me go, but then you didn't want to show me the drum set that I had to play on?
Oh, yeah, it was in the back.
Yeah, the whole band was covering the drums. I couldn't bring my drum set, so I played the inmates' drum set, and it had so much duct tape on it. It was unbelievable.
It was crazy.
And the only thing I can say, they didn't want to show. I said, put a mic in the bass drum, put a mic on the snare, and I'll get something out of it.
Yeah. Remember that time? I think it was the same show at OBCC when you were stuck on Gate 4.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let you go.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, when we got to the jail, the chief was like, "Well, why aren't you guys playing?" It was like they wouldn't let the drummer out of security. He's on Gate 4. All of a sudden, there was sirens. He made a phone call.
They made a phone call.
And people thought Freddie was getting ready to get fired.
The whole command said, "What did you do?" Because Cruz, they took me straight to OBCC. You know what that's like in security? When you mess up, they're going to escort you to the worst jail on Rikers Island for punishment.
Well, it was nice seeing you guys again, and nice meeting you, Rodney.
Wait.
Yeah, nice meeting you, Rodney.
Thank you, likewise.
Karen.
Let Horn play us a little tune going out. You better hope it hit the right. All right, Horn. Hey, Horn. Horn's going to just keep going, y'all.
You lost it now, Freddie.
I
It's
don't know.
over.
Maybe we gotta pass the hat around. You gotta throw him $1. You know?
Listen, you know, musician. You give him a half of a turn, and that's it. It's over. You taking over.
Okay.
We gotta give him some stronger wine.
I just